welcome to the Legal Eagle. This week we have with us one of the country's topmost criminal lawyers, but someone who's also taken on the Congress very clearly and spoken about them and the secret pact they had with China. I welcome on the show top legal eagle, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani.
This picture showing Rahul Gandhi and a Chinese government official signing an agreement in the presence of his mother and Congress President Sonia Gandhi and Chinese President Xi Jinping was allegedly taken in Beijing in the year 2008. When the Gandhis and Vadras, on the special invitation of the Communist Party of China, attended the opening ceremony of the Olympics. 12 years on, when border tensions between India and China are heightened, the focus is back on the 2008 agreement, considering the Congress Party's very blatant pro-China position.
चाइना ने हिंदुस्तान की जमीन छीनी है, हमारी जमीन हड़पी है। प्रधानमंत्री जी, आप चुप क्यों हैं?
Legal Eagle and senior Supreme Court lawyer Mahesh Jethmalani believes it's time to make the contents of the MOU public.
Agreement needs to be in the public domain. It needs to be secured by our investigating agencies at the highest level. The NIA, I have suggested, under the UAPA Act, should take action and secure this document because we need to know the contents. It is a sinister agreement.
In June 2019, when Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi held a meeting with the Chinese at 10 Janpath, it raised eyebrows and pointed at their proximity with the CPC. Was it a result of the secret deal signed in Beijing? And who can forget that excuse the Vadras had given after a series of denials after this picture emerged in 2017. They said they were attending a Chinese food festival with the Chinese envoy. The BJP cited news reports from 2008 to highlight how it was a pact to ensure regular high-level exchanges between Congress and the Communist Party of China. That's all we know so far.
This MOU was to build a relationship with the Congress and the Nehru-Gandhi family in particular that goes beyond the UPA and the government.
Will Congress come clean in the 2008 deal with China? Is it time for a deep investigation into the 2008 secret deal? And finally, will the government take note of the demand for NIA probe? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Mr. Jethmalani, thank you for being our legal eagle of the week. Our first question to you. When you spoke about the MOU that was signed between the Congress Party and China, there was a huge uproar. You went to the Supreme Court about it. The larger question here, the Supreme Court, even though it did not entertain the plea, said go to the High Court. How do you look at it today, keeping in mind China's another misadventure last week into India? How do we look at the larger picture here? Keeping in mind you asked for an NIA probe into that secret pact.
Rhythm, we didn't go asking for a CBI probe. The agency that is authorized to investigate matters under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act is the NIA. My client, who's basically a lawyer, Mr. Jha, and Savio Rodriguez of the Goa Chronicle, they asked for a preliminary inquiry to be registered so that the MOU of 7th August 2008 could be secured in the custody of the NIA to examine if there were anything in the contents of that document which violated the UAPA. So we are not saying an offense is committed. We want that document to come in the public domain and to come in the. I'm sure some of our intelligence agencies may already have it, but in case they don't have it, we want this document to be secured from the Congress Party to examine its contents and to see whether there's anything which is subversive of the UAPA, which, as you know, deals with offenses relating to national security.
And Mr. Jethmalani, the Supreme Court, even though a notice was not issued, said, and I remember Chief Justice of India, Justice Bobre's words when he said, it's very disturbing to see that a political party enters into an MOU at such a time when with a foreign government in an agreement.
Well, it didn't say at such a time. It was 2008. It wasn't a recent, it wasn't. So I'll just correct you there. But yes, it did express surprise that such an agreement was entered into. And they said, look, you better be sure that you know what the amendments you are making in the petition, right? And they said, we'll give you leave to amend the petition and we'll ask you to go to the High Court because we want to see the view of the High Court, right? Before we examine it ourselves. So what we've done now is we've amended our petition. We are ready to file it in the High Court. But if you are seeking relief against any public agency, you have to first make a representation to that agency to redress your grievances or to make them do what you are asking the court to make them do. So first you have to make an entreaty to the agency itself that these are the circumstances of the case and kindly exercise your powers under the NIA to secure the MOU of 2008 and see whether it discloses an offense. I'm again emphasizing that nobody is alleging an offense has been committed by anybody, but this is something which should come in the public domain, particularly since China has been a repeated and habitual offender. Both actual and cartographic aggression is constantly carried out by that country. It's an enemy country against us. Any political party or any individual in this country or any association in this country should be extremely chary of entering into an agreement with the Chinese government or what is the de facto Chinese government, which is the CCCP. So the CCCP is no more than the Chinese government, and the Congress party should, unless this is a completely innocuous document, should not have entered into this agreement. But the point at the moment is, given the status of China as an enemy country, and given the fact that we are in a warlike situation with China, it is imperative that our intelligence agencies, and the NIA in this case in particular, secures that document and examines its contents to see what it is that the Congress party has committed this nation to, qua the Communist Party of China.
Mr. Jethmalani, I would like to speak about the VIP trips that were taken by the Vadra Gandhis to China. These trips were taken by Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Robert Vadra. They were taken even though between 2008 and 2013, there were 600 Chinese intrusions in India. How do we look at these trips? How do we perceive these intrusions? And what do we make out of this friendship, this bonhomie between China and the Congress?
Well, I mean, there is nothing wrong in anybody making a trip. But what is the purpose of that trip? I mean, if those trips were ultimately, I mean, there was a veneer of the Olympics being held in China, etc. But behind that smoke screen in 2008, an agreement was entered into, an MOU was done. So was the ostensible reason for going to China, i.e. the Olympics, only a camouflage for undertaking these activities, this MOU? And more importantly, what was the contents of the MOU? I mean, the Congress party is a national political party. It has been in governance for many years, right? I don't see why it should even have the slightest hesitation in putting this document in the public domain. I cannot understand why the party would be reluctant unless there is something sinister in it. The more time it takes, and there have been several demands on many channels that this document should be brought out of the public domain, the fact that it is not being done enhances the suspicion about the contents of this document.
And then one question that has been arisen earlier that has arisen again. Can a political party sign an agreement with a foreign government like the top court had asked Mr. Jethmalani?
Well, I think that the signing of the agreement itself, signing an agreement itself with an enemy country raises eyebrows. Now, whether strictly speaking, signing an innocuous agreement that we'll have cultural, supposing you say we're going to have cultural exchanges every year, right? We're going to have, more synergy between our youth and so on and so forth. If you have those kind of, friendly terms in an agreement or an MOU, there's nothing wrong with them. But you want to see whether that agreement is in that manner innocuous, or it has something which we should all be worried about. Remember that the Communist Party of India indulges in unlawful activity as far as India is concerned. The unlawful activity is it makes totally illegal, apart from actually encroaching upon our territory, it makes illegal claims upon our territory. It's a secessionist organization as far as we are concerned. So obviously, given the nature of that association, that organization, that political party, it behoves the Congress party to establish its bona fides by putting that agreement in the and saying, listen, you know, we are nationalists as you are, right? Here is the agreement.
Mr. Jethmalani, this secret pact highlights the level of understanding that CPC had with China, the level of understanding that China has never had with any international party, any international country. It also highlights the kind of relationship that Sonia Gandhi had with Xi Jinping. It's also very clear through the secret pact that a level of bilateral talks were being spoken of that has not been spoken of earlier. What do you think could have been the key features of the secret pact?
Well, I mean, there could be some. There could be something about trade relations. Under the UAPA Section 15, economic security. Anything which threatens our economic security is also an offense under the UAPA. It's a terrorist activity, actually. Any act which threatens our economic integrity, right, is also an offense now under the amended UAPA Act. So I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing which is a cause for concern. For its covert intelligence, it acts in every country in which it seeks intelligence, and particularly India, through its embassies. So a covert intelligence wing signs an agreement with the Congress party, and you have noticed that the coziness which Rahul Gandhi enjoys with the ambassadors. It happened at the time of Doklam, it was revealed, and it has happened again recently during this crisis. Also remember that the embassy in Nepal, the Chinese embassy in Nepal, has played a notorious role in propping up the Oli regime when it was tottering. The fact that the agreement is entered into with this wing of the CCP, which deals with covert intelligence operations, is an extreme worrying fact.
Yes, that's a very, very valid point that you make, Mr. Jethmalani. In fact, I also want to point out that China manages its day-to-day work through PLA offices in 110 such offices with military attaches attached across the world. Now, I remember in 2007, during the Olympics, when Sonia Gandhi went there, she was accompanied at that time with Rahul, Priyanka, and even Robert Vadra. We've seen the kind of personal bonhomie that we have seen here. This is a clear relationship that China has, not with India, but the Congress party, and in particular with the Vadra Gandhis.
Well, I don't know whether it's a purely personal relationship. That would make it, that would not make it so sinister. But please remember that when this agreement was signed in 2008, the 2009 elections were less than a year away, right? It was probably perceived by the Chinese at that time that Rahul Gandhi was a potential future leader of this country. They wanted to mollycoddle. They wanted to nurse him. They wanted to take them under their wing. They wanted to improve relations with him. So obviously, this was an attempt. At nurturing or fostering a relationship with a potential future leader of this country. And the Congress party seems to have only been too eager to fall into the welcome arms of the Chinese Communist Party.
Mr. Jethmalani, will you be taking up this matter now in the High Court?
Yeah, we have to give some time. We've written a letter. So my clients have addressed a letter to the National Investigating Agency. We haven't put that letter in the public domain yet. The letter has gone to the NIA. We are giving the NIA reasonable time to respond to that letter. Right? If we don't, we have a fixed period of time in mind. If we don't get a response, then we will file the petition in the High Court, as the Supreme Court has allowed us to do.
Yes, Mr. Jethmalani, my last question is similar to my first one. With China's continuous misadventures, the Congress party needs to be very cautious of this relationship with our enemy China. What is the advice and what is the guidance that should be given to the main opposition party, the Congress, at a time when China continues to transgress and continues with its latest misadventure?
Well, the message being sent out by the suppression of this document is obviously that there is something in this document, and that the Congress party and its leadership in particular can't be trusted. I mean, I view them with suspicion for this simple fact, right? Of course, they will get very holier than thou, and they'll come out with all kinds of denials, etc., etc. We are as nationalist as anybody else, and so on and so forth. But all I'm saying is, please establish your bona fides. Please establish your alleged nationalism by showing the country. Show that the people of this country matter to you. This is a situation of acute crisis. We are almost, on the brink. There's a lot of brinksmanship going on, which could flare up, right? Please, at this time at least, let everybody in this country be known that one of the main opposition parties in this country is completely above board when it comes to China. The message that the Congress party should be sending out, right, is that we are firmly united in this time of distress. We are in this time of serious national security threat. We are firmly behind the government and the Prime Minister.
Mr. Jethmalani, as I thank you for being with us on the Legal, I want to say I've had several conversations with you over different cases earlier, but this time you've been at your most fiery and most eloquent best. It's clear that when it comes to national security, these are matters you are most passionate about. I thank you for being our Legal of the Week. Viewers, thank you for joining us. See you next week on the Legal.